We know the drill. Hold on. Hold on. Let me just press buttons real quick because the computer is not behaving. Look here. There we go. Come on, twat. Oh, never mind. Hi, Kayla. Let me just tell this thing to sit still, because this thing does not need to be doing anything. Where the heck, dude? There we go. I guess it's not working. Okay, get that out of my life. Tell that thing to go away. And there we go. Okay, hold on. There's something else in front of me face that needs to skedaddle. Oh, it's the legendary Kendra. It just uplifts me every time when you pop in, Kendra. Every time. I don't know what it is. Every time. Yeah. So I kind of figured might as well kind of get some insight from our lovely lady after the eclipse that had happened. And I'm, like I've said before, I'm pretty shocked and surprised that nobody even mentioned that Black Moon Lilith was right. Like, there was Rahu, then there was Rahu, which is the North Node, then the Moon, and then Black Moon Lilith right behind the Moon. So it was pretty much like Rahu on top of the Moon, and then Rahu looking over and thinking, oh crap. Because, like, out from the shadows, literally, he noticed that it's pretty much, to paint a pretty picture, he looked up and saw Lilith coming all like, you're going to get off the moon, or you're going to wish you never did that in the first place. Because astrologically, whenever Black Moon Lilith comes into contact with the moon, she protects the moon, like, from anything and everything that can cause any kind of damage to it. So, for those of you that happen to have a Scorpio or Taurus, or even have Black Moon Lilith in those signs, pretty much it really affected you the most, and other planets that are conjuncted. Like, for an example, I happen to be so blessed with Venus and Pluto in Scorpio. So that was a lovely thing to have. But on the good side, though, because since Black Moon Lilith pretty much took a knife and put it to Rahu's neck and was like, tell you what, hon, let's do what I want to do, and let's give her what she wants. So let go of the moon and be a good little boy. Okay, you see over there in Scorpio? Why don't you take all these luxury and comforts and, send them that way? So essentially, like, during that time, any kind of magic that was done to, like, enhance the beauty, enhance the self, man dominate, intimidate, get revenge, empowerment, as well as any vampiric work, would have been at its most prime. At least in my opinion. And so I guess I figure now's the time to actually see if anybody would like to have Tarot V. And actually, this is the deck I'm going to be using for anything Lilithian related. And now I guess we'll all get into a nice Lilithian conga line and dun 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 dun. Advice, no. Yes. I looked at this deck when it was, like, on Amazon for pre-order, and I noticed it was by the same artist that did Tarot Z, Alejandro Colucci. And I mean, Tarot Z, or, definitely not Walking Dead Tarot, it's thicker than this one, and I like the I like the art style because it's not strictly like Rider Smith. I like the art styles from decks that are just like, I'm doing my own thing. I really don't care. I'm just gonna be doing this. Oh, I don't like being bound by like a system. I guess we'll go. I guess we'll put me on the spot. I'll be pulling 2 cards for whomever wants it, I guess. So I'll be the first one to get advice from lovely lady. And pretty much the advice is just going to be like per person, not really a question of mine. So to test, to kind of test the waters to see how. Okay. King of Swords. Oh. Wow. So this is a bit milady. I'm kind of intrigued by what came out for me for my poll. I got the King of Swords and the King of Cups. What's really not coincidental is that the King of Swords is looking at the King of Cups, and the King of Cups is like looking at me or something. Like, I see you, Vlad. I see you, Vladimir. Oh, not you again. Wow. What if I told you that was a one-time thing, okay? Whoever came with that, stereotype that, sparkling vampires are, magical. Yeah, no. But for me, my message after the eclipse is to be a bit more fair, practical, and be a lot more reasonable and logical with emotional, like giving emotions and actually being more mature about it. Like not giving emotions to people that are just not really more advanced in understanding, and being a lot more discerning with whoever gets my emotional bestowment. But yes, this King of Cups actually does look like Vlad the Impaler. Funny enough. 2 fires and 2 fire as the base for the king, and air for swords, and water for, the chalices of definitely not cranberry juice. So there has to be maybe also a lot more mastery over these 2 suits as well, and trying to bring them together, because even though water and air, they oppose one another, when they come together they actually make water and air actually makes ice, or essentially the ability to communicate emotions, which they actually support one another in that regard. So at least that's what I'm getting for myself. Okay, so well, that's gonna sound bad if I say it like that. So now who's next on the chopping? Well, not next on the chopping block. Yeah, next on the chopping. Well, I'm not gonna put chopping block. That's not very nice. I don't care if I'm not authorized because I'm not signed in. So Cauldron will be next. And after that, it'll be Lisa. Yeah. Well, and if you happen to be one of those Adam things, well, you not only are going to be getting that head cut off, but the other one. Vulgar. Oh, hi, hi, Abraham. I just got tongue twisted. Okay, so Cauldron. Okay, we got that with... We have the Sun and then Temperance. So the Sun depiction, we have a woman in yellow, and she's looking towards the sun, which she's looking towards this way, which is left, I believe. But because since this is a vampiric themed deck, usually with sunlight, they don't like the sun that much. So the Lilithian message I'm getting from this is, don't be afraid to go into territory where you know you're not in your element, and it kind of makes you feel like, why? Because when you step into that environment and you actually synthesize and mix it together, and actually putting yourself through that will allow you to merge the state that you're in, and that discomforting state that you do not want to be in. And then that's when you're able to get into a new state, which is this vampire standing on top of the waterfall. And you actually gain mastery over this environment, which you're like, no, please, no. If I have to go in there, I'd rather just no. I don't like this. You actually gain control over it and actually being in a new state, because temperance takes A to B, and temperance is that point from A to B, that transformation from there. So gaining that sense of like, okay, I'm going to go into this spot I don't want to be in. Oh, it wasn't that bad. Now I feel like I have it more overpowered and I can actually maintain it and not be too weakened in it. I feel more empowered in it. At least that's what I got from that. This one is Tarot V. Like Tarot Z. This one's Tarot V. I know. Just wait until one of the which one is it? There's one. I can't remember off the top of my head. We'll see. Next is going to be Lisa, and after that will be Alshane Tane. If it's not Tarot already, yeah. Yeah, that was it. Yep, it was this one. Okay. Can definitely do. After, where should go? After Lisa. Oh, Nelly. Okay. You didn't have to make a clap like that. Lady. You cracked me up. So, Lisa, we have the Hermit and the Ace of Beating Sticks, or Ace of Wands. So I'm getting okay, nice and loud with that one. If you're currently in a position where there's someone above you thinking that they're superior and thinking that they're like, oh, I'm this much more experienced in this job, or oh, I know this and you don't. Oh, I got this. Just metaphorically, just pick up your beating stick and don't be afraid to start brandishing it, saying no. You think you're worth something, but in reality, you're just a decaying corpse, son. You ain't nothing, dude. So, even the wands being staffs, they can be like how for the staff, you can actually use it to help you walk, or, if you're getting blindsided by someone, you can actually turn it into a weapon. So, in this case, using your willpower to defend yourself against a potential threat or something that has been thinking that is, oh, I'm so superior than you. And it actually may be putting you in a state where you believe it, but in reality, if you take a nice look and have a step back at it, you think, wow, this thing thinks it's hot. Yeah, really? It looks like it's rotting away. How did I even think this thing was worth anything or even better than me? It's even dead. No. So most definitely, if there's someone or some entity that's looking down on you, don't be afraid to stand back up, pick up the stick, and say, hey, stick it, go away. Literally, stick it. And push back. Because the figure is making you believe it's making you believe that it has power over you and it's authoritative, but not really, because it's running away. So pick up your big stick and speak loud. Teddy Roosevelt. With Teddy Roosevelt. Okay, next is Alstein. Okay. So Alstein wants to know about B and thinks about. Kendra's gonna like this card that just came out. She's gonna love it. Ooh. We have the devil, Satanus, with strength. Now, as a lot of people think with the devil card, it's like, it's not good, oh God. No. So, how am I going to read this? Easy. Between the two of you, you have immense potential to have a lot of enjoyment to the senses with one another. You both do. But here's the issue. You have got to not be in this innocent state, and because of being in that innocent state, thinking like, I don't know, we should be doing this. Let the primal fun side come out. So what? The life between you two is meant to be enjoyed physically, and the senses should be enjoyed. Don't hold yourself back from it. Besides, being on this plane, this physical earth, a lot of people think that they're here being punished, or even worse, that they have to repent for their sins that they did, even though they weren't here to do them in the first place, which is something that a lot... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kendra got it. Especially, though, if you happen to be working with an entity that's more on the darker side, left-handed path, or even if you're a practicing Satanist, whenever the devil card comes out, especially this one, that is a key indication that you have either Satanus himself, Lucifer, or any of the left-handed divines or goetic divines trying to get your attention to be like, hey, listen. Hey, listen. And with the strength too, again, don't let innocence and being like, I have to stay pure all the time. Purity and what's pure to you may be completely different to somebody else. What really matters is that you should enjoy the connection between the two. Let loose, but just don't let it possess you all the way. But really enjoy the connection you have, and don't... The only time that you really need to hold yourself back is when you get to a point where like, okay, I've had enough. I think I've had plenty of fun in this encounter at this moment. Enough's enough. I'm going to take a moment to step back and regain my strength and standing. Because if you are able to have that self-control and know your limits, you'll be able to be just fine, because that's being heavily influenced. And because also Satanus is related to the planet Saturn, which is like all about knowing your limits. Once you know your limits, you're actually able to stop and recuperate at an easier way of recovery. And the devil does have that aspect of like knowing your vices and also being a devil's advocate to yourself, saying, you've had enough to drink, dude. You should stop drinking, because if you don't stop drinking, your life's going to suck. You're going to get a migraine, you're going to wish you never drank, and you're going to not be able to go to work tomorrow. So enough's enough. At least that's what I get. I just knew right when I flipped that, I'm like, oh, Kendra's going to love the card. Just knew it. It's the flip. And that's and I think who was next? Next was yeah, Kayla. For Kayla, what do we get for this? What do we get for Kayla? And it's funny that a lot of people don't actually take a moment to see the good part of the devil card. They automatically think bad. It's really a card of enjoyment and indulging in the physical body and like the senses attached to it. But also knowing that enough is enough because the body has limits. If the body didn't have limits, then it would be completely different, but that's not the case here. And I mean, if I was using that other deck, Heaven or Hell Tarot, having the Lilith figure looking at the Adam figure all, oh, what was Adam over there? What was you? You're going to have to handle yourself. You got this, hon. Oh, what was you? I just love being an intuitive reader just for that reason. Because intuitive reading is, to me, so much better than just looking at the guidebook. Because with the deck, when you actually just look at it and go through it over and over again and use it, you actually are able to see things only unique that deck can see. It's like a language. Each deck speaks in a different language. Even though they have the same words, they speak this differently. And that's why I have a tarot obsession, because it's like linguistics, but, imagery linguistics. Okay, for Kayla. Okay. Well, we have the Page of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. So the first thing I'm going to point out, the Pentacle suit has this on it. I don't know if the word, I don't know if it'll be able to pick it up, but on the Pentacle, focus, you bloody thing. On the Pentacle, it has written on it, above Samuel and beneath Lilith. So, whenever a Pentacle card comes out, instantly I instantly get Lilith coming in through the card. So in this case, since this figure is actually taking a wooden stake and stabbing it in some... It looks like it's being stabbed in... Oh, wait a minute, never mind. What it is, she's actually grabbing the stake after taking down someone. Like the hand right there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a hand right there holding the stake. And it looks like she's actually doing... It's like she's doing like she just threw him onto the ground. Harshly. And she's kind of fixated, looking down at it, and she's probably thinking, oh, stupid dimwit. And also, a pack of wolves helping her out, because nature. So, if there has been something that you have been tracking, or keeping a watch on, or if there's been something that you have been swung at from, this might be the opportune time to actually take it down and show your dominance to it. Because there's this wolf here gnarling its teeth and intimidating it. In doing so, you'll actually be getting into a more serene state of being mentally and on the physical. Because the masculine is the physical, and then the feminine is more the mental and imagination and emotional. But the thing is that you have to do your, metaphorically speaking, you have to do your judo to it, and reminded that it ain't going to be like this. Because the way that she has him taken down is not really hard. It's because judo translated is like is gentle way, and it doesn't strike. It's just really just moving and flowing. You don't hit them. You just help them. Like you want to go this way, sure. So using their own force and to kind of show that it's not tolerated will also boost your self-esteem and your confidence on the mental and also the physical level. It'll actually show that you can stick up for yourself, and mentally and emotionally you'll feel more secure that you don't need to be in a state of fear and that you're going to be in any kind of environment that's going to take advantage and harm you, because you made it known. You swing, you're going to get your caboose on the ground, and then you're going to get some wolf teeth to your face. But not chopping yet. Pretty close, though. At least that's what I get. Okay, let's see. I think... since I... Oh! Easy though. Hello, Michael. Haven't seen you in a while. Yes, Abraham. Would you like me to do a poll for you? Okay, got 1 and a 2. Hello, silly Anika. Is that how you pronounce it? So, Abraham. Quite an interesting poll. The Hierophant, not the he. This is not a he who font. And the Page of Blades. Now, usually when I see the Hierophant, I think, oh great, it's a, notice me, I am a guru, I am important, I know what I'm talking about. If you listen to me, if you have anything against me, you're going to hell. No, you can't defy me. If you do, you're going to burn. Not in this case. And I usually see the Hierophant stereotypically, based on Rider-Waite-Smith, as a malefic card, because it intimidates with religion. This, though, this is what I'm getting instead. There is this desire to have a more romantic and more, how do I put this? Like a more mature, elegant, and how am I trying to say it? It's like having a connection that is much more traditional, elegant, classy, and with a much more sense of nobility, because that's also the Hierophant. But in this deck, it being a dark deck, there is that theme that you want this connection that's a bit more romantic focused. And by romantic, I mean not like medieval romance, which is fantasy, but like the stereotypical romance, like cheesy woozy wooey, but more conservative, if that makes sense. Like having a connection that is serious. But now we also bring in the Page of Blades. Now this page is my favorite of the deck. It looks like she's coming in looking for something to poke with that wooden stake, and also having another sword to her left. Now, yes, I'm done with this one. So what I'm getting is there is this consistent investigating of wanting to have a connection and a more conservative, devoted, serious connection that also has a sense of romance to it. There could be mutual looking into each other and checking up on people, kind of like spying or, gathering intel or looking at from a distance. Either way, that connection is there, and the seriousness and that desire is there. The only thing is that if this is already there, there's not really a need for this, because this is also showing that there is some kind of sense of fear and doubt in this. Because the Hierophant as a card is also a religious man that has immense confidence in his faith. He knows in his faith, he's confident. You're not going to be able to move him from it. So really, this page energy just can go boom. Because having faith that it's going to work, it's going to have to work. So yes, just you don't need to be having any kind of investigating or spying on the other individual, because if you keep faith, it'll come towards you. So Nika's next. Alrighty, Anika wants to know about Leo. Okay. Okay, we got one. Ooh. So, we have the 9 of Blades, 9 of Swords. Yes, Sly Fox. We have the 9 of Swords. And then, I love this card and the way it's depicted. The Wheel of Fate. The Morai. The Fate Sisters. Or Hecate, if you can also look at it that way too. So, there's this very just feeling of just dissatisfaction. Like, the heck? I've been wanting this for so long, so much now that I'm just like petrified and I can't even move. Been waiting for this and wanting this for so freaking long. When is it ever going to come by? Shortly thereafter. Oh, we hear that you want something. Well, let's start getting that in the right direction. So now, essentially, powers beyond the control are actually going to start moving things in that direction. It may not be what's desired, but it'll be starting to scooch it towards in the direction that you're wanting it to go. So I'm going to pull one more because that one kind of might need some clarity. From the 9 of Swords of feeling all, I feel like that. Oh! Now, this one might make you think that, oh, this is why being an intuitive reader is the best way to read. We go from 9 of Blades, with the Wheel of Fate, it now becomes the 5 of Cups. Hold on there. Hold on. Whoa. This is not your typical 5 of Cups now. Usually you hear 5 of Cups, you think, oh, depression, sadness. Oh, woe is me. Not this one. Not this one. You might be thinking, okay, so what makes this one any different? Look at the 2 figures up there. You notice how there's one in the front and there's one in the back. The one in the back is getting closer and closer and closer. And the other one in the front pretty much looks like it's slowing down. Take a guess who that is. It's you. And this is the person that you were inquiring about. They're coming towards you, and they're kind of hot on your tail. Even if you aren't even aware of it, they're coming towards you. And expect most of the movement to happen a lot behind the scenes. Like a lot of the influence and changes behind the scene. That's what's going to come through. That's what's going to have the most movement. So you may not see it like, oh, okay, I saw that. It's going to be all like, Was there something behind me? Something moved. Something changed. I know there was something there. And all of a sudden you look to your left. Oh! And there it is. Precisely why intuitive reading is my favorite way to read. I don't like being all, we have the book, by the book, you're supposed to mean this. Okay, well, you just limited yourself. Okay, who's next? Sly Fox. Unhindered. Alrighty, Fox, you're up whenever you're ready. One. And actually, speaking of that, Cauldron, in this deck, the Three of Swords is not what you think it is. Same thing with the Two of Swords. It's not what you think it is in this deck. It's something completely different. Okay, so that's 1, 2. I'll pull another one just to be safe. I just love it when the tarot does that. It's just like, by the way, if you wait. Oh. Oh, this is gonna be just majestic. So, let's go at it this way. Let's actually read this in reverse. So, where are you spiritually? Number 1. Right. Spiritually, you are needing to be here. The Knight of Blades. This depiction, we have a vampiric woman riding on a hawk statue. Meaning that there has to be a lot of swiftness and a lot of mental strength. But now, here's the real thing. How in the heck are you going to get to this? And how is it going to be done? And who is going to help you with that? Well, the best way that's going to help you get to it is that you have to be in a state of peace, and then some entity is going to come in and just go bestow it to you in your dreams. Or when you're not expecting it. Because in the depiction we have a woman figure, sound asleep, just all sound asleep. And then we have a cloaked figure just putting a blanket over her, like keeping her warm. And now the question, who is going to be this figure? The devil. But not now again. Satanus can be this figure. Night Cauldron. Satanus can be this figure. A dark goddess energy can be this figure. A horned god figure can be this figure. A left-handed path divine can be this figure. A goetic spirit can be this figure. Or any figure that is focused on enjoyment of the self and the physical senses. This is going to be the figure that's going to be awakening and giving you this sense of awareness. So be open to it. Just because if it comes towards you and says, yeah, I'm Satanus, you think, oh, you don't hit me, please. No, don't be stereotypical. Don't be afraid, because trust me, he has better things to do than just to swing at someone. He has much better things to do. And if he actually comes towards you and actually invites you to invest with him, please take it. Good. Please take it, Fox. Trust me. I've gone down the left-handed path and actually invested with I believe, it was originally, I believe, I used to say it was spiritual Satanism, but it was really, in a way, theistic, in a way, much more. But you'll be in good hands. Trust me. If I go down it perfectly fine, and I mean, I still have a deep connection and friendship with the left side, still, even though Satanas dismissed me and said that wasn't my path, I still have that friendship and that connection. So believe me, you'll be perfectly fine, if not better. And also, the left side accepts everyone, regardless of who they are, what status they are, what they have, what they don't have, and how they look. Don't matter. All are welcome on this side. But keep in mind, on this side, you got to be careful. Not because, they'll come swinging at you, but you have to be careful in ensuring that you're protecting yourself and really sticking up for yourself, because they will test you with that. They're not doing it just to be like a bully. They're wanting you to stand up for yourself and not be afraid to let any of them push you around. Because a real divine being wants you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and fend for yourself. And they are there to be an inspiration to you and assist you and give you guidance. Yeah, Kendra, twice. That's why I just love when he pops out. He's like, hey, I'm calling. Notice, listen. But yes. So, it's very important to know that hardship times, and even when they may be involved in putting up a trial or they may cause a challenge towards you, they're not doing it with baneful or malefic intent. They're doing it just to see if you're prepared for it and if you can surpass it. Because one of the ways that Thomas likes to test his own is that he takes a step back. Whenever there's a troubling situation and the individual who asks for his help and they don't get the help, he's doing it because he wants to have them handle it on their own the best they can. If they make it through and they get through it and surpass it, that's when he comes out again and congratulates them on it. Applauds and congratulates them, and then they can actually start moving on to something much more challenging. If they cannot, he then steps out and helps build them up and then have them go through it again. That's the beauty of how he gives those lessons. He actually takes a step back and doesn't let them have to use him as a crutch. Because using him as a crutch is not going to improve them at all. Going through the trial and then pushing and trying their very best to get through it, even if they don't make it through, they'll be given the guidance and going through a step-by-step process to better themselves so that way they can go at it again. Because that's one of the things that people also tend to not really... Well, from those 4, you will have a life that'll be a lot more mentally active and a lot more communicative. But again, if he comes towards you, or any other goetic divine, left-handed divine that comes towards you, if they come towards you and invite you, you have to take it. And I suggest you do, no matter who it is. Because if a divine entity is coming towards you and invites you, they're making the choice to choose you and invite you to improve you and better yourself. To me, I look at it as like, this entity came towards me, I didn't even ask them, and they want to make my life better and invest in me. I didn't even ask them. To me, it's an automatic yes. Well, with that poll, it's seeming like it's going to be the left. Besides the left, I honestly have to say the left is much more accepting and a lot more expansive than the right. Because the right is strict, and you have to stick by what they push you to do. Because, I mean, the right is so lawfully strict that it has to be by the book. Regardless of what the book says, it has to be followed. Even though it really doesn't say this, if there was, like with the angelic order, if they were commanded to stand on their heads and do, 5 spins on their head and flapping their wings while they're spinning on their head every morning when they wake up, they have to do it, regardless of how stupid it is. Because by Yahweh's will, they have to do it, even if they want to do it or not. If they don't, they get punished. So is that strict by the book? The left is way more flexible and has more potential to actually get you prepared and go through the physical plane from its learning experiences and actually ascend much higher. The right controls you and tells you and puts you where it wants you to go. Satanas, any of the ones that are on the left, because that's what I can say with the devil card. Any of the left divines, that's what I would suggest. Which ones? There are many. There are many of them. And I suggest you go towards, you start learning and looking into the Goetia, and then just start looking at all the 72 spirits' names, and write out the names that just draw your eye, and then start looking at each one until you get to one that's like, get over here! It's not literally going to happen like that, but, it pulls you. It's like, that's the one. For me, my first one was Hagante, which is also the one that's also the Egyptian divine Bastet. And another one, shortly to follow after, was Sekhet. Whew! I remember that day so well. I read the last word in that invitational to Sekhet. Once I say the last word, a loud gun went off. Like a shotgun. Like next to my window went loud. Like, nice to know the Sekhet's here. And Sekhet is also known as Sekhmet from Egyptian mythology. It's just that Sekhet does have that quality of being loud. Like, hello. I would have to say the best way to know is to investigate it yourself. Now that part, that's for your choice. That's for you to decide, not me. And, in reality, you're never really going to be alone, because you're always going to have a spiritual entity or divine with you at all times. Especially, now this is where a lot of people tend to not understand this part, and they get, Whenever you think, you call out to an entity, and you think, and they didn't come to me. They didn't answer. They're ignoring me. No. Whenever you call out to an entity, make sure when you're calling out and inviting them in, you actually make it known, okay, I invite this entity in, and for it to make ways of communication that I can understand them clearly, with full clarity. Because if you just invite them, they'll come in, and then it's like playing, well, not really playing it, you're not really shooting at them. You're like playing Russian roulette. Let's see. Can I hear him? Nope. Russian roulette. Can I hear him? Yep. You never know. You have to make that known. Details are important. But but for other people, that's for you to decide. And of course, there is the best way to predict your life is if you're the one taking control of it, making the choices and knowing, okay, I'm deciding this is how this is going to go. I'm going to be going out here and doing this. I'm going to explore my life and live it to the highest potential it can be. Even if I'm intimidated by something, I don't have time for that. Or even heck, people are going to be staring and looking at me. They might be judging me. Oh well, you're getting their attention. They're noticing you. I mean, heck, I look at it as like, oh, people are looking at me and staring at me, huh? Okay. Wow, I didn't know I had a fan base. Wow. And I didn't even, I didn't even try to make myself look good, and they're just staring at me. Technically, it's right. Because they're looking at you, they have your attention. Is it good or bad? It doesn't matter. You still got their attention, right? And even to be honest, I can't count the many times, because this happens to me daily. Just driving, minding my own business, come to a four-way stop. I have to wait until the cars to the left and right, like they go through. One of them turns, comes towards me. As the car is turning, I'm looking straight ahead. I notice that the driver that's turning and going this way is turning and going, like looking right at me as he's turning, or she's turning. And I'm thinking, don't you think maybe you should pay attention to the road you're supposed to be looking at instead of me? I'm flattered, but I didn't even try to make myself look good, so stop. That happens to me way too much. Like, stop looking at me, because if you keep looking at me, you might, look back and you hit the game over screen. It can happen, so make sure you keep your eyes on the road and stop noticing and looking at, wow, he looks good. Crash. So how the crash happened, I was staring at some guy driving. Yeah, the officer's gonna look at you and think, really? You were staring at a guy, a fellow driver, instead of paying attention to the road? Why? I don't know, there's just something about him. Thank you, Black Moon Lilith, for that. Well, Sly, it's funny you say that, because you're probably surrounded by the other 6 people in the chat, probably. The other 6 people in the room are more than likely yes. There you go. Or, you can also look on Facebook groups. Even on Instagram, you can follow a few there. You can even also go to my Facebook page and hello, Shopaholic. I guess now we're going to be shopping till we're dropping. Physically around you, well, the best way is to go out and just be yourself. Because there's a saying that practitioners can recognize one another. And best of all, number 1, if you have anything of yours that has a magical vibe to it, wear it. Hi, Maddie. And if somebody's all like, you're practicing occultist, or you practice magic or witchcraft, okay, Kendra. Oh well. Now what's the party? Does we all? Wow. Oh, I knew that shopaholic. Night, Kendra. Well, there's the good night one for you, Kendra. There's your card. The High Priestess. Wow. That was your card for tonight. She's also holding a water jug. Water jug. Oh, never mind. It's not a water jug. It's a jug full of blood. Whew. It's a good thing I got Adam's blood. Okay, now Lisa. Now for Lisa. I couldn't resist that. So. Perfect. It's like, whew, got Adam's blood. No, Yahweh. Hey, you're the one that made him, imperfect. But hey, I'll live forever. So now for Lisa, anything that spirit guides want to know. Fine, just. And there's one. Wow. Down. 4 swords again. But this is what I'm getting. you now have a choice that you have to think over. And you can't let anybody influence you with this choice. Do you move with your emotion? Do you move more with your emotions and more swift? Or are you more realistic and strategic? Because this is the Page of Wands, Knight of Cups. Do you go face first with your emotions and use that as your guiding light? Or do you go in more down to earth and more strategic and using your sense of will? Which way do you go? Don't let anybody influence you with the choice. Choose what's best for you and more stronger for you. Choose the one that pulls best for you. If you happen to have you can only pick one. If you happen to have a pet, go with the one with the pet. Go with this route. Go with this one. If you do not have a pet, and if it's just relying on yourself, then you go with this one. But if you have a familiar or a pet, go with this one. But if you can't decide, yep, then that's how you need to be going at the situation then. You have to be realistic, you have to be down to earth and practical, and be more strategic. Because the Wands, being related to Sagittarius, the Sagittarius is the sign of a general, a commander in the army. He is the one that plans the attack. So you have to be using your strategic thinking and willpower, but being realistic with it. Excuse me. So, whatever situation that you're in, that you're needing clarity with, be more realistic and practical. Yes, Shopaholic. After Maddie. Plan on growing the hair out braids. How will I look if I get them prettier or worse? Vishnu is not right-handed. Lord Vishnu is really, to be technical, not even really affiliated with any of them. Because Lord Vishnu is Vishnu. Everything is Vishnu. All is Vishnu. So if all is Vishnu, you're Vishnu. This is Vishnu, this card. I'm Vishnu. This can is Vishnu. Everything has a small fragment of Vishnu in it. And that way everything's connected. Now, Yahweh is right-handed. And Yeshua is also right-handed. Yes. So now, Maddie. Now, prettier or worse, really to be technical, that's really opinionated, but let's see. I'm going to just go with the one with the... Answer that the best way you can, card stock. Yes, it is. Krishna, again, now Krishna is not really Krishna is not affiliated. And yes, Chrissy, it is. This is free, but it's not going to be as intensive. But Krishna is really just Krishna. He's neutral. Lord Krishna and actually really. Close. No. Alrighty, toodaloo, Lisa. So, where'd you go? Maddie! Now, here's the thingy thing with this. You'll be next. Shopaholic will be next, and then after that will be your Chrissy. And then after Chrissy, I believe that'll be my last one because I have a call coming in about 20 minutes. So, Maddie, here's what I got. We have 3 of Cups, Temperance, 4 of Pentacles. Now, there has to be a coming together of these two. 3 of Cups. This depiction, we have a woman in a fabulous Victorian red dress, looking to her left like, oh God, oh, I don't know about this. That just made my night, Fiona. Perfect. Good. Because really, it's about time that, that some people get to the back of the head. Especially those in the patriarchy. Because, they kind of need it. Those stupid old men. But anyway. There has to be a coming together and mixture, because that's Temperance, between the 3 of Cups and then the 4 of Pentacles. Now, this depiction, again, Victorian red dress, and she's looking to her left like, oh God. This one can be very... No. Kali is a dark goddess, yes. But if you're going to be going towards, like, using the Infernium, I can't pronounce it right because it's just the language. If you're going to be going at it through that book, then yes. But if you're going to be going through it more of the Hinduism way, if you're going to be going towards it that way, then if you're going with the Hinduism, Kali won't be really that moved by it. As for the where'd it go? Is that it? Oh, Kali and the 5. And now, if you're going to be going at it from the I'm just going to go with it, the dictionary of Infernium, you cannot bring them anywhere near the right side. You can't. Because you do, clash. That's like you're taking Satanus, Yahweh. Don't do it. No. Or worse, Lilith. The angel that killed her child in her arms. That's not good. Don't do it. It's going to be an instant clash, and the energy is going to be chaotic, and is not going to be good. Because you have 2 of the opposing spectrums at the farthest point come together. That's not good. And a lot of people think, well, middle pillar, you're gatekeeping. No, if I was gatekeeping, I wouldn't be telling you this. That's restricting. What this is telling you, you do this, you're stupid. Don't. For your safety. But you didn't know, but still. If you're working with Kali from the Hindu side, and the thing is, if you work with the right-handed side, you cannot work with anything else. You can only work with angelic, and any of the saints, and Yahweh, and all of them. You're stuck there. Kali, quite frankly, doesn't give a damn. But Yeshua and Yahweh, different. Anything that's on the right side, anything that's not them, they don't like. That's just how their nature is. But anyway, I'm going to get too distracted. So, where'd it go? Crap, where's my scroller? Let me scroll all the way back up here. So, dang it, where are you? Okay, Maddie. Sorry, I got too distracted. So, Maddie, there has to be a bringing these 2 together, which is this 3 of Cups is like, it's kind of in a state of being a fear based on the appearance, trying to look for validation. And then also kind of gaining sustenance and addiction for being validated. These 2 have to be brought together, the temperance, synthesized together to make the Hierophant. Now, don't be thinking that is a bad one. No. This Hierophant is actually being in a state that's more intelligent, a lot more stronger in one's belief, and a lot more stronger in one's sense of faith in thyself. If you take these two cards, and they are kind of being reliant on getting validation from something else and looking at something else and then feeding off it, you merge them together with this Temperance. What comes from it is the Hierophant. So from merging validation seeking and sustaining from it, merging them as one, you get a lot stronger sense of faith and security in the self. So to answer the question, as long as you're doing it for you and you're really wanting to impress yourself, have at it. That's the point. If you're doing it because you want to woozy with someone else, not really you. Well, Lilith. Fine, my lady. Just, a lot of people just don't know how to handle me. A lot of people say they do work with me, but I don't know them. Some people, I don't even know them. Anyway. See now, who's next? Okay. It's after, right. Okay. Shopaholics next. Shopaholic, what's should look for? No, Chrissy, you're next. Yes, Shopaholic, I'm looking right. That sounds so creepy if I said it that way. All right, Shopaholic, you're next. I'm looking right at you. No, that would have sounded bad. Okay. Oh, that's exciting. So is that. The Ten of Swords with the Moon. Now, don't be thinking this is like everyday Ten of Swords stuff here. No. Different depiction. And don't think the Moon's a bad card. A lot of people think, oh, not the Moon. There's some secrets being kept. Someone's being sneaky. Let's start with the first one. This Ten of Swords, we have a vampiric figure jumping from a tree downward. Like it's pouncing on something. And then the Moon. The Moon, of course, with its stereotypical baneful side looking at it. Yeah. The Moon's also a card saying you have to learn to see without your eyes. Meaning, you have to use your intuition and feel your way through. And you have to know that relying on the intuition will be the best guide. Because you can be blind, but intuitively, you can sense and feel your way through. You have to learn to see without the eyes. But in this case, you have to be able to lunge for something when you cannot see it. Meaning, you have to really enhance your intuition. It might be lacking. To be able to pounce and claim something that you're wanting, you must work on your intuition. You have to see without your eyes. And then you'll be able to see everything and be able to pounce on it, on whatever you want. Strengthen your intuition, especially underneath the full moon. That's what I'm getting from this. Because when you're able to see without the eyes, that's when you can pounce and land on whatever you want to get after you pounce on it 100% of the time. If the intuition's strong, you can be blind, don't matter. You still got the strength to detect something. I saw that. At least that's what I got. Let's just get that out of the way. Okay, Chris, wait, where we go? Whoa. Okay, where'd Chrissy go? Okay, Chrissy... Yeah, Chrissy's next. Chrissy! Alrighty, Chrissy. Of course, Shopaholic, anytime. For 2022. Okay, so I guess we'll just... Fine, wow, I didn't even have a chance to even think. Okay, we'll do it then. 1. First quarter. Second quarter. Third quarter. Oh, man. Third. Fourth. I think this would probably be the better way of going about it. So, first off, we'll go with that one. The first of the year, you actually may be noticing that there's something off. Because this depiction, we have a He-Who figure, who at first you may be thinking, holy brother, the heck are you doing, dude? You're creeping me out. Oh, that's that's Vlad. Oh, I didn't notice you there because you're looking like, the Pope, the dope. No, it's not bad. So, you may notice things might be off, but you being aware of it and noticing things are different, you blend in. You go underneath the cover. You go kind of like how you go behind enemy lines and you're putting on a mask to deceive them and deceive those around you. Just to go with it, so that way you're not being detected. So in the first bit of the year, you may have to be in this deceptive state. Just going along with it, kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Just going through the moves, okay, whoop-de-woo. You might have to do that for the first quarter. But when you're doing that, lo and behold, the second quarter has the magician rising up out of the ground. After keeping on this deception, that's when you gain the mastery enough to be able to manifest any way or any kind of desire that you're trying to work on. And because of that, you are actually able to take flight. This is the 6 of Swords. You're able to take flight in the third quarter without having any opposition and being able to move swiftly about it and getting over any kind of emotional holdback or blockage, and being able to land next to your desired. That's the 4 of Swords. So to recap, currently in the beginning of the first quarter of 2022, which actually you add all those 2s up, you get a 6. This year, you might have to start off acting and playing something out as a mask and making it hide other motives and plans that you have. Just after hiding it for a bit, you now are able to be at your best possible state. You put in the work to have something come about, and you actually are moved to that state or area or the proper plane, metaphysically speaking. You actually are able to go from the state that you're in that's like, not what I want, to where you want to go, to take flight to it, and then realize, oh, my precious, you land in it. So if there's something that you've been desiring for quite a long time, just make sure you keep up the deception and build up your power. Because once you build up your power, you'll be able to take flight to that location where your precious is just sound asleep, waiting to be claimed. That sounds so awkward. So, actually, Sly, the best way I can describe it is that, well, that's a bit of an, it's really complicated for me to explain it, but in the beginning, actually, the right claimed Satanas, and those who fell, the enemy first, and cast it out first. It is what it is. So anyway, there somebody else too. Where is she? Maxine, if she's still here, I hope. Let me just get this out of my life. There we go. Maxine will be my last one. Then I have a call. It's gonna come in like any minute now. So Maxine, what does Lilith have to say? Sucks to be him. Really, Michael? Oh. Yeah. I didn't... Oh, was it that you that was saying what calls out to me on the right? Is that what it was? Was that what your question was? Because I thought you were like, how... The next live reading will be... I have no idea because I tend to come on live randomly. But for Maxine, make it quick because I don't get that much time. But I'll do Michael real quick after this one. So I'm going to make this short and sweet. Maxine, if there is a figure who has made you become so self-confident, like having self-esteem issues and actually dragging you down and making you feel depressed and very, like, seeing yourself in a bad light, now's the time to pick up the sword, pull it from the stone, and stab his smug ass. Don't let anybody knock you down like that, hon. Oh, I usually do pull the heavy soon. But, Maxine, don't let anybody think that they can just be all like, oh, well, you're not pretty to look at. But me, flawless. Oh, really, dude? You think you're flawless, huh? Slit to the throat. Off he goes. Don't let anybody ruin your self-image and your sense of self-esteem. Stab him in the ankle if you have to. Metaphorically. Don't really do it. So anyway. Now, for Michael. Let's see. I think this deck might be a little bit odd to see who's on the... like... who's coming towards on the right. I think this might not be the best deck for that, but we'll see what happens. Huh. Emperor. 5 of Swords. Possibly going towards the right, there might be something that might intimidate you and actually may lead you down the wrong way and actually cripple where you're standing at right now and leave you with nothing. At least that's what I'm getting from this. Now this vampire figure on the 5 of Swords is like she's looking for someone that's outside the carriage that isn't there. So possibly the Emperor figure is going to mislead you on going down the right side. Yep. He who's hung most. The right figure will misdirect you and leave you hanging. Literally. Because it's like, copyright, copyright. I couldn't resist. So, if you're going on the right-handed side, just be careful to not let someone misdirect you. Investigate carefully and be practical. So, that's the best I can say. And I got to be... That would be Nyx. Being the primordial goddess of the night. The first, like, literally the first divine to come out. The thing is, you do not have to have connections to both to have balance. You don't need to have both to have balance. Balance is within self and knowing your limits. Because you can heal and damage with both. You can heal with the dark as much as you can heal with the light. You can harm as much as you can with the dark, the same with the light. But that's for another time. So anyway, I'm going to take my leave before, the person calling me is going to throw a spear at me. And then I'll just see all of you later. And you stupid thing.